Welcome to the Hoops Culture Podcast, where we talk about all things basketball. We're back for episode 22, and yeah, it's been a great NBA week so far. Specifically not for my team, but it's actually been very, very fun. There's a lot of big stories, so don't just look at the title. We're not just going to talk about three things. We will talk about a little bit more. We will dive deep into it. So yeah, it's going to be a good episode today. Um, I think I'll be streaming tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'll be doing. I was thinking about, I was kind of thinking about 2K, Rec, like playing Rec with some of my friends, but sometimes 2K really does aggravate me to where I I don't even want to play it. But excuse me. Yeah, I will definitely let you guys know on Instagram. Follow my Instagram. TikToks, I will be posting updates on when I'm streaming or when a new episode's out. Just to promote it. Then again, thank you guys for watching everything. I really appreciate it, and we're gonna get started. So, the first thing I want to talk about, it was kind of, it was yesterday. It was really embarrassing. Very interesting. The Thunder lose by 73 points to the Memphis Grizzlies. Oh my god, that was embarrassing. Embarrassing. I've never seen that. Well, yeah, I mean nobody's ever seen that because that was the largest lead ever, the largest win deficit ever. Um, I mean to think, okay, we all know the Thunder aren't that good, but then again, it's a 73 points. 73 points. The Grizzlies didn't even have Ja Morant. Um, the starters didn't even play the full game because then they just put in the bench and the bench was just killing it. Just killing it. Thunder as an organization, that's embarrassing. I mean, I understand you didn't actually, yeah, they didn't really have a lot of their players as well. You don't have Shea and Giddy, but damn, they didn't even have Ja, and they washed you guys by that many points. You let Jarrett Culver, one of the biggest busts, 11 points. Come on, come on. Jaren Jackson Jr. scored 27 in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. He didn't even need a full 30 something. In 20 minutes, he got that. Lou Dort was only one. Lou Dort and Ty Jerome were the only ones that were kind of respectable. The rest, it was just that's just embarrassing, man. Like you got to do some slides, work on your defense. I guarantee you they were running all day, all day. I mean, the Grizzlies shot 62 from the field, 53 from three, and like the rebounds is really where you kind of see it. Like 53 total rebounds, 14 offensive to the Thunder's 26 rebounds and like 41 assists. The Thunder had 19 turnovers as a team. The Grizzlies had 82 points in the paint. Like that is just insanity. Insanity. But yeah, I really wanted to just how 70 how that many points how do you lose by that many points? How? They didn't have their best player. I mean, I understand Jaren Jackson's a great player, but man, they didn't have their best player and they lost by that much. Imagine he played. Imagine he played. Maybe maybe we would have saw a 100-point victory. No, I don't know about all that, but man, like it is insane. It is insane how crazy like the league is now. Just like how teams are scoring 150 points. Like back in the day, like were teams really scoring even like 120 points? That's like a once in a blue moon thing. They were lucky to hit 100 points sometimes, but yeah, I mean, excuse me, I'm just gonna take a sip of water. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, like it just shows how our league's evolving every single year. The scoring has become such like seeing 120-point games has become such a norm. It's actually insane. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Thunder real quick. I mean, they're rebuilding. It's not like they were a playoff team and they're like, oh, it's embarrassing. It's blasphemy, this and that. Like they're rebuilding. I think that they're really not a good team at all. So yeah, just keep it at that. Next, let's talk about the Suns. The Suns run. They're currently I believe, the highest seed in basketball right now. They're on a winning streak. And they just beat the Warriors to get the highest seed in basketball. And yeah, they are an amazing team. They're fun to watch. They play together. Um, I really thought that they were not going to be the same team they were last year. This year, especially with a lot of the West kind of getting a little stronger. I didn't think it was going to be they were going to be the same team at all, but they look incredible. They brought in Landry Shamet, who's been a pretty good addition. Devin Booker is playing amazing. His scoring has went down a little bit, but he's still great. DeAndre Ayton shows that he should have kind of got an extension over a lot of other people. Um, because he really does deserve it. He's a great player. And I don't want to hear that he was a bust and the number one pick. I think he's been living up to the expectations of just what kind of player he was. You got Chris Paul, who's 30, 36, 37 years old, playing like a beast, 14, 10 assists. And I think he's the real key factor to them winning. He's the glue that keeps the whole Suns team together. He's the reason why they win. He knows how to handle the ball. He knows where to put people in their place. And yeah, I mean, the Suns are a great team. I don't know if they'll go to the finals this year, but their team is definitely capable, and they look a lot better than last year. A lot better than last year. I mean, Mikal Bridges is great. Definitely worth that contract. The stats don't show what he could do. He's such a great defender on the ball. It's just insane. And then you pair that with Chris Paul, who's already a great defender and still moves around like he's a young dog. So yeah, I mean, JaVale McGee getting added to the team was also great. He plays amazing. Cameron Payne's really revamped his career. Um, from where he was almost like he was a bust, but man, he looks like a great bench player now. And Jake Crowder's always doing his thing. 3 and D. Cam Johnson's a great player, up and coming. He will be a good starter in the league in a couple of years. So yeah, I mean, shout out to the Suns, man. You didn't listen to the doubters, kept going, and I mean, shoot, they're gonna make some noise in the playoffs. The Warriors, Suns are definitely the best teams in the West right now. Those are the guys that run the West, and we'll see how they go. I would love to see a Suns Warriors conference finals matchup, and they're playing tonight, so that's going to be a great game. So yeah, I mean, shout out to the Suns. You guys, like, the key to their success is really just Chris Paul playing so well. Um, just the way he handles the ball. He's just such a good leader. Like, there was a point, his last year in Houston, like, everyone was writing off Chris Paul when he got traded to the Thunder. Oh, he's done. He's this, he's that, he's washed. Goes to the Thunder, makes the playoffs with them, was top three in MVP voting. Um, and that year, when they made the playoffs, it was like the pandemic year, 2019, 2020. Everyone was saying, "Oh, the Thunder's going to be a bad team that year." I thought the Thunder was making the playoffs that year. I said, look how many guys they have. You think they're gonna afford tanking with those guys? No. Why would they do that? And they made the playoffs as a fourth seed, or fifth seed. So yeah, I mean, Chris Paul's a great player. I hope he stays in Phoenix for the rest of his career. I don't want to see him bounce around teams. I don't like that. I don't like that for Chris Paul. Chris Paul's a good player that has to stay on this team in order to win till the rest of his career. Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton are great young players. They're gonna just keep evolving, becoming amazing players. Cal Bridges, it's it's just a great team. I really hope they pull through and stuff. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Suns. Next, we're gonna talk about what's this Hornets ceiling. The Hornets ceiling is an interesting one. Um, because they're one of the most fun teams to watch. They're probably the most fun team to watch, especially with those commentators. Those commentators are best. They're the way they scream for Miles Bridges, LaMelo, the Rozier. It's crazy. The energy they bring to that for the watchers, everybody in Charlotte and in North Carolina. I mean, it is amazing. Those guys deserve a pay raise and everything. But yeah, what's the Hornets ceiling? Obviously, LaMelo Ball is one of the guy, a do-it-all guy. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals a game. He is a problem. I love watching LaMelo play. Him and Lonzo have really become great players in this league. Um, Lonzo, I'd say, is one of the best role players in the NBA. Probably, yeah, top tier role player, like a higher end role player. You got LaMelo, who looks like he could be a superstar, and I really stand by that. I think he could be a superstar in this league. You got Miles Bridges, who is kind of having like a little cool down, but he still looks amazing. 19.9 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3 assists. He scores the ball like it's either he catches an alley oop or scores off a catch and shoot threes. It's so amazing how he scores. I love how he plays with so much energy. You got Scary Terry. Scary Terry is, he does his thing. He's a great shooter. Real spark guy. You got Gordon Hayward. Kelly Oubre coming off the bench looks amazing. PJ Washington is still a great player. And yeah, I mean, their ceiling is a little tough to kind of say. They're still a fairly young team. I definitely think they'll be a playoff team this year. Last year when LaMelo got hurt, that kind of messed with their like momentum, so they kind of started losing, and then they didn't end up making the playoffs. But this year, I definitely think they're a playoff team, especially with LaMelo being a great player. I could see them being around 6-4, the sixth seed to the fourth seed. I don't think they're ready to go to a second round of conference finals, nothing like that. Think they need 1 year of experience. We need to get LaMelo in the playoffs. All these the only guys with experience right now are Rozier, Hayward, and Plumlee. So, I mean, they're guys that have done it. I mean, we've seen Rozier have a tear with Boston in 2018, and Hayward with a couple of years in Utah. But we just have to see a little bit more. I definitely think next year they're going to be a for real team. Especially if they sign, like if they get a good player, like trade, free agency. I think they'll be a great team. It's a really fun destination for someone to go play with someone like LaMelo Ball, and yeah, it's just someone who makes your team better. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Hornets ceiling so far. Next, I want to talk about how I don't know how the Cleveland Cavaliers lineup works. I don't know how it really does work. Like, the Cleveland Cavaliers are one of the most interesting teams in the NBA right now. They they sit around the sixth spot. They're 12-10. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now. Colin Sexton's out. He's going to be out for a little while. I think maybe around like March he'll come back. Torn meniscus is no joke. You really have to rehab that well, because then if you rehab it well, you'll come back in no time. But yeah, their lineups are really interesting. Like, they run like the ultimate tallest lineup possible. As you could see, I mean, they start Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and Laurie Markkinen. 3 guys who could all be centers, which is pretty insane. And then you got Darius Garland, who's leading the charge at guard. He's been incredible. He's really coming into his own as a great player. 18 and 7 a game. Excuse me. Laurie Markkinen's been great for Cleveland. Being a great player, good shooter. 14 a game from him. Evan Mobley is, my opinion, him and excuse me. Him and what's his face, Scotty Barnes are definitely leading in the Rookie of the Year race right now. I'm leaning a little bit towards Evan because they're winning so far. Obviously, that stuff's bound to change at any time. But yeah, they're both great players, and I can't wait to see what else they could do. I just don't know how it works. Like, cause you'd think, oh, you have a tall lineup there, it's gonna be a little tough with the defense because they're not gonna be able to switch on the big forwards. But like, man, they have been pretty good. They have been pretty good. Um, Obviously their rebounding has been very good. You got their you just got a insanely tall lineup that nobody thought would work because I thought Laurie was going to come off the bench. I didn't think they were going to start him at all. And then now you're starting him and it looks funny cuz just like who would have thought? Who really would have thought that this would work? Yeah, it's just like it's just so weird because I everyone's talking about it's everyone was saying oh the league's trending to smaller lineups this and that and they're making the big lineup work so yeah shout out to Cleveland. I hope they have a good team. Cleveland fans have been a little depressed for the past couple of years ever since LeBron has left. Hasn't been the greatest for Cleveland. So yeah, hopefully you guys get a winning team and pack out the playoff stadium and have fun. So yeah, that's for Cleveland. Next, we are going to talk about my New York Knicks. I don't know what has happened. We look terrible. Our starting lineup is one of the worst starting lineups statistically ever, which is kind of weird. How we're still a positive team, but our starting lineup is awful, straight just awful. Julius Randle has definitely showed that he's cooled down a bit from last year. It's kind of, you know, ooh, excuse me. God, I'm sorry, guys. I'm burping a lot. Shoot, I'm burping a lot. I had I had some shish kebabs, so yeah. But I mean, you see that Julius Randle averaging 19.9 points, 5 assists, 32 from three, 43 from the field, 10 rebounds a game. His PR is not really that good. He just looks so off this year. He's looking to force a shot every single time, which is what we don't need. RJ Barrett has looked horrendous so far ever since that good stretch in the beginning of the year. He's looked horrendous, shooting below 40% from the field. Like nobody wants to see that. You're supposed to be elevating your game right now, and you look awful. You look awful. You're a third year player. You right third year player. You have to be better than this. This is when you were supposed to peak and go and increase in scoring, increase in efficiency. And last year you were a lot better. You don't look that good right now. Your defense is great. Yes, I'll give you that. But man, you cannot hit a shot sometimes. I don't like that. Fournier has looked pretty good. Is a little inconsistent. We saw that Randall and Fournier kind of got into it a bit. Um, so yeah, we got that. Derrick Rose, has been iffy. Kemba Walker's out of the rotation. I'm kind of happy about that. Kemba back in Charlotte was amazing, but man, he is not that player anymore. I don't know if it was Charlotte being a bad team that kind of like made him look look better, like just with shots, like shooting all those shots because on the Knicks he looked terrible. He couldn't do anything. His net rating was negative. I mean, the whole starting lineup's net rating is negative. They all look terrible. But the bright side about the Knicks, the reason why we're winning is because of Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, and Alec Burks. Those are the guys that are gearing our wins because our bench had chemistry from last year. The starting lineup does not have any chemistry because when you added Fournier and Walker, that messed up everything. Bullock was there for 2 years. That's why everything fit together. Now you add these new guys, it just doesn't fit. I think that's the main reason is just chemistry. These guys don't know how to play with each other. Another reason is that Randall tries to do too much, and we have guys that want to do too much. Just score the basket. That's all. You don't need to do too much. Randall's looking to do and one street moves in the game. Like you could get to the bucket just bully balling. You don't have to do wait to get the ball, stay in just like dribble. You don't need to do that. You could just take one tween, go in, bully them, and then go for a layup. And he's been complaining about the fouls. Like, man, you don't complain. Who cares? Who cares? I know you're getting not getting the call because they're not going to give the big guy the call, like you said. So stop complaining about it and just play. Honestly, stop complaining about it and just play. So yeah, that's really my thoughts on the Knicks. They need to get it together. They were a lot better last year. I mean, I know it's been 20 something games, but you have to get it together. You have to get it together now, better than later. So yeah, hopefully my Knicks get better. Randall, I know you're a great player, but just come on, man. We need to see better. RJ, you're a great player as well, but we need to see better. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Knicks. Um, one more thing I wanted to talk about, a little off topic of basketball, is I wanted to kind of talk about like MMA a little bit, a little MMA. I wanted to talk about the notorious Conor McGregor and how that weight gain is kind of like so. You know what? I'll just pull up a picture at this point. Let me right here. And honestly, he has gotten so jacked. It is insane. It is insane how big he's gotten over this injury. So for those of you who don't know, Conor McGregor fought the number one contender in lightweight, Dustin Poirier, in July 10th, I believe, in their third fight. First round, Conor looked good in the first minute. Was hitting some nice leg shots and you know just hitting good shots at will. Um, Dustin goes for a takedown, starts wailing on him for a couple of minutes of the fight. Conor had some moments on the ground, but it was just overall domination by Dustin. They get up, Conor throws a cross, and then his leg just snaps. It snaps, and fight's over. Dustin Poirier wins by doctor stoppage, and yeah, um, we see Conor McGregor been out for a little while, and you could tell he's been hitting the weights, and yeah, he was going crazy on those weights, and he looks huge. I mean, I think this is the biggest he's ever been. They're saying his trainers were saying he's at like 186 right now, which is kind of absurd because his walking rate used to be around 170. So he'd only cut around 15 pounds to fight at 155. And when he was fighting at featherweight, cut 25 pounds, which is insane. I don't think he'll ever make featherweight again unless he starts training and kind of loses all that weight. But yeah, I think Connor, his comeback fight, if he wants to stay at lightweight, which I think I don't know. I kind of wanted to see him go back down to featherweight, but it's going to be really hard for him to cut that weight. Um, if he wants to go back to lightweight, fight someone, you got to fight Tony Ferguson. I think that's a good comeback fight for him. I believe Tony is seventh ranked right now. Connor is ninth, so that would kind of put him around that 7-6 range. Then you fight one more guy in the top five, like a Michael Chandler, and I think he'll be in prime position to get a title shot. I don't know for sure, but if he wants to go to welterweight, stay there permanently. You got a Jorge Masvidal fight there. You got the Nate Diaz fight there. I mean, if you really want to get one of those guys, that would be great for you. But yeah, I think he'll be great. I just wanted to talk about that. I'm a big McGregor fan. Been watching him for a little while. It's kind of the first guys I ever watched. Like even when I didn't watch the UFC, I'd always pay attention to Connor. So yeah, I mean, That's the last thing we're going to talk about today. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a fun run with this podcast. We'll be back on Monday, and if you guys have any ideas for the next episode, submit them. Text me on Instagram, and we'll see what we can do. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.